What happens when states enforce age verification laws on adult websites? Why are companies that produce this material leaving rather than complying? And most importantly, how should Christians think about this? Here's the point. As of mid-2025, 25 states have passed laws requiring age verification for adult websites. These laws typically target any website where more than 1/3 of the content is deemed pornographic, requiring them to verify that users are 18 years or older before granting access. The response from the so-called adult entertainment industry has been very telling. Rather than complying with these reasonable safeguards, many major adult companies have chosen to simply block access to their sites in states where age verification laws are on the books. When Louisiana became one of the first states to implement such requirements in January 2023, traffic to Pornhub, one of the largest adult sites, dropped by more than 80% overnight. What does this tell us about the primary demographic for these companies? Make no mistake, they prey on the youth. They expose children to mind-altering material that permanently alters their development. The statistics are staggering. 93% of boys and 62% of girls are exposed to internet pornography before the age of 18. The average age of first exposure, 12 years old. With much at stake, how should we think about this? First, this is not a free speech issue. This is about the protection and defense of the innocent and promoting public decency and morality. America has a long-standing history of criminalizing obscenity. In 1873, Congress passed the Comstock Act, which made it illegal to send obscene, lewd, or lascivious material through the mail. Anthony Comstock, the law's champion, was appointed as a special postal inspector to enforce it. For decades, this law successfully restricted the distribution of adult content and materials, and the Supreme Court consistently upheld such restrictions. In Roth versus the United States in 1957, the Supreme Court explicitly held that obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment. The court recognized that protecting children and maintaining public morality were legitimate government interests that outweighed any claims to free expression of pornographic content. The material being peddled online today makes the obscene material of 1873 and 1957 appear rather mild. It is clear that the sexual revolution of the modern century has pushed the Overton window on public decency and societal expectation. Second, there is no LGBT movement without pornography. This content rewires the human brain, delivering surges of dopamine that are unnatural. Like any drug, users build up tolerance. They search for increasingly more extreme content to achieve the same dopamine effect. There is a direct correlation between the exponential growth of various sexual identity groups and the consumption of adult content. That data is overwhelmingly clear. So-called trans porn has become, in effect, a recruitment for the youngest generation to join a movement. This isn't conspiracy alarmism. This is reality. Porn addiction leads to mass sexual confusion and, in extreme cases, irreversible medical interventions. And it all starts with unrestricted access to adult content at a very young age. Third, something isn't free when you're the product. The porn industry claims that age verification violates user privacy and creates government surveillance. But let's be clear, these companies are already harvesting massive amounts of data from their users, tracking viewing habits, preferences, and patterns to maximize addiction and profit. That's not entertainment, that's exploitation. These companies make their money by getting people addicted, particularly targeting the young whose brains are most vulnerable to dopamine manipulation. Age verification for pornography is no different than age verification for alcohol, tobacco, or gambling. And this is a good use of government power. The state has legitimate interests in protecting children from predatory industries. And unlike alcohol, tobacco, and gambling, the damage to developing brains is far more severe and permanent. Christians must recognize that pornography is not a victimless vice. It destroys marriages, enslaves minds, fuels sex trafficking, and corrupts souls of our children. Scripture is clear. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body. But whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Christians must also protect the next generation. Jesus said, if anyone causes one of these little ones to stumble, it would be better for them to have a large millstone hung around their neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea. This industry preys upon children, and we have the power to stop it. This is about the righteous and just use of government power to punish evil and promote righteousness. We should demand accountability, protect the innocent, and have the courage to stand against an industry that is devouring our nation's youth.